Good morning. So today we get to reflect on Leo the Great, Pope and Doctor of the Church. Leo the Great. This only throughout history and that has been officially named great two popes, Leo the Great and Gregory the Great. I know when Pope John Paul II passed away, now Saint John Paul II, many people were giving him the title Great. And I don't think the church has come officially to give him that title, but for us and for many of us remains great at our hearts. But Leo the Great and Gregory the Great were the two popes that the church recognizes as a great popes. What it means to be great is actually because the things that they did. And of course, many people, you and I, we know that there are many people out there who are saints and are great people. But Leo the Great make him, Pope Leo, make him great, or what makes him great was that as you see in the church history, and that's fascinating, and especially for us to look back, because we think that the conflicts and the struggles that we sometimes have in the church, we think that this is new. And it has been always that way. We have different approaches and understandings and different takes on how do we see scripture, on how do we see different things. And that's the beauty of the church. This good and fruitful dialogue, talk, and discernment of God's will and the Spirit of God, and the discernment of what's God telling us throughout the history of the church. And Leo was elected Pope when he was in a diplomatic journey or trip mission to Gaul, which now is France, and he was a deacon. And he was a deacon who was in this uh, uh, diplomatic mission to Gaul with the bishops of Gaul, and then he was appointed Pope. He was great in mind and understanding and church teachings. And what he focused and what made him great was that the Council of Chalcedon, 451, that's year 451. He is one of the greatest implementers of that council. And actually, when we profess our creed on Sundays, we have the short version and the long version. Well, the long version was closed and say, well, this is what the church believed in the year 451 in the Council of Chalcedon. And after that, and that was like everything about Jesus' humanity and divinity was settled and put into a creed, and that's what we inherit. So Pope Leo started to implement this creed throughout the church. But until that moment, the Pope of Rome, or the Bishop of Rome, was not respected. Let's put it, respected is not the right word, but it was not viewed as we see him today, the Pope and the head of the whole church. There were different other bishops in different other places that claimed to have authority and that they claim equality with Rome. But with Leo, he didn't just claim the authority of Rome and Peter, because he was at the seat of Peter in Rome, but he actually claimed to be heir, or that he has inherited Peter's authority. So he went up in Rome, and then Pope was just sitting on the seat of Peter, that was the first bishop and the first Pope in that regard for the church. He claimed that he was a true heir to that authority. Not that he was just sitting on the place of Peter, but that he was the true heir. And the Bishop of Rome was the true heir of Peter's authority. And somehow he made his point very clear, and everybody then from that time on start to respect and regard the Bishop of Rome as Pope, as the authority, as the head of the church, to the point that in the Council of Ephesus they say Peter has spoken. Peter has spoken, which meant that through Leo, the Pope of the Bishop of Rome, now he was really embodying Peter, the first of the apostles, the authority of Peter as Pope. So Leo the Great started continue to implement all these teachings on the universality of the church, and was very he was very much also in favor of having, this is a Catholic principle that is kind of lost in tradition, but he was very much into allowing the people of the different places and towns and cities to elect his own bishop. So Pope Leo implemented this sentence, in his letter number 10. He says, "He who is in charge of all should be chosen by all." No, that was back in 451 when people would decide and choose, and those stories of different saints out there that you see how the people themselves claim them as bishops. That St. Augustine is one of the examples. People saw him, but they say, well, he could be a priest and then he could be a bishop, So what I think make Leo great is that he stood for the understanding of Christ in his humanity and divinity. And he kind of closed the deal on that with the teachings of the Council of Chalcedon 451. So my question to you, and I want you to ponder throughout the day today, what does it mean for us nowadays to stand for Christ, humanity, and divinity? What does it mean to us to stand for Christ, humanity, and divinity? Pope Leo was emphatic about being the heir of Peter. I want you to think about your relationship with the institutional church, especially with the bishops, with the Pope, but especially with those bishops, bishops, priests, deacons, people in authority, in hierarchy of the church, especially those who challenge you in faith. It doesn't matter in which side. To the right, to the left, I don't like those categories. But how is your relationship with those who challenge you in faith? Because that's what Leo the Great did to all those other bishops. He challenged them to understand and recognize his authority. So what is your relationship with the institutional church? Say a prayer for them. See you tomorrow.